Thank you all for being here today. My name is Lewis. I'm a freshman from Portland, Oregon, and I got involved with fossil fuel divestment after the People's Climate March. And although it's only my first semester at Swarthmore and my first semester working on fossil fuel divestment, I've already experienced the incredible power that divestment has built all across campus. And I've been able to see how this campaign has evolved into a truly unstoppable force. I'm so excited that you are all here this morning to celebrate our incredible semester with us and show the board our true power of our movement. Our campaign and our movement are at a major milestone. 2014 has been a historic year in the fight against climate change, and fossil fuel divestment has played a truly critical role in this work. Even the Rockefeller Foundation and 200 other institutions around the world have committed to divest. And we brought that energy back to campus this semester, feeling the power as a body of students that we have a goal to shape our future, and that power has been incredible. The fossil fuel industry is already reacting to the pressure we've put on them. Companies themselves have acknowledged how divestment is making it harder for them to obtain contracts and get financial backing. The Alberta Oil magazine warned that energy executives ignore the divestment campaign at their own peril. NRG, one of the largest electricity companies in the U.S., recently pledged to cut 90% of their carbon emissions by 2050, citing the political pressure generated from the divestment movement as a significant influence in this decision. We are winning. Woo! Here at Swarthmore, we have the signatures of over half the student body, 806 signatures, and the signatures of 56 faculty members, showing the widespread support on campus for divestment. And today, we are all calling on the board to take action now and align our money with our values. It's been an amazing semester for this campaign, and our power is only growing. We need to harness that power that we and others in the international movement have built and bring it to bear on our board of managers by demanding that they finally align our investments with our values and promote a just and sustainable future. We need to call on our board to stop betting against the very livelihood of the planet and the future our Swarthmore education is meant to prepare us for. The time is now more than ever for Swarthmore to emerge as a leader, and for our board and our college to stop delaying and take powerful action to stop climate change, to save lives, and to pave the way for a clean, just, and sustainable future. The time is now, and we will do it.
Hi everyone, thank you all so much for coming. I wanted to speak for a moment about why we're here before we go on. My name is Guido Gigenti. In 2008, I visited New Orleans. Even 3 years after Hurricane Katrina, the lower Ninth Ward, a low-income community of color where African American families had lived for generations, remained in ruins. Only a handful of families had returned. Schools and grocery stores had not been rebuilt. Entire blocks stood empty. I learned that Katrina was just the most recent episode in a long history of environmental racism. I learned that it was the fossil fuel industry whose pollution had eroded the barrier beaches along the Gulf Coast, whose oil had polluted people's water, their homes, their food, whose fumes had given cancer and asthma to the people of Louisiana. And when the storm came, strengthened by warmer waters, it was the lower Ninth Ward and similar communities who were least protected and left behind. This story of injustice and climate disaster is repeated again and again across our world. Hundreds of thousands die each year from the impacts of climate change. Air pollution from burning fossil fuels alone kills 1.4 million people each year. The climate crisis will affect each and every one of us, but our world's most marginalized communities will be hit first and hit hardest. When we extract and burn fossil fuels, low-income communities and communities of color are the first to be burdened with poison and pollution, and when the tides rise and the storm comes, they are the least protected and the last to be evacuated and rebuilt. Before we march today, let us take a moment of silence to honor all of those around the world struggling against this crisis and remember those who have already lost their lives. When we march today, let's keep that moment and this intention in our hearts, to take responsibility for the destruction that our college invests in and profits from, and to put Swarthmore on the right side of history. We're at a pivotal moment in our campaign. As many of you know, 2 weeks ago, our college's largest financial advisor, Cambridge Associates, announced that they would assist institutional investors seeking to divest from fossil fuels. Immediately following this announcement, Swarthmore Mountain Justice asked the Board of Managers to meet with us and begin the process of working with Cambridge to prepare a plan for fossil fuel divestment. This past Monday, Gil Kemp, the chair of the board, responded and agreed to set up these meetings. We won these meetings with the board after months of organizing and building power on campus. And to win a plan for divestment, we need all of you. We need to show our power. Today, we're delivering over 800 student signatures to the board. So it's official. A majority of the student body has called for fossil fuel divestment. Woo! In the coming months, we hope to work with the board and Cambridge to identify pathways to a fossil-free endowment. We are asking the Board of Managers to develop a plan for fossil fuel divestment to be considered at the coming February board meeting. We expect the board to seize this opportunity to align our investments with our values and to make Swarthmore an international leader on the issue of climate change. I want to thank you all so much for being with us here today and for standing in solidarity with this international movement. Before we march, Sophia is going to tell us the plan, and then we'll go.
For your beautiful speeches. Now, before we deliver the petition signatures to the board, we would like to give the rest of the campus a chance to see and hear our movement. So please join us in exiting through the front doors of Parish, where we will pose briefly for photos with our sign, and then we will proceed to march around through Coburg and the LPAC up towards the Science Center and loop back around into Coburg, where we will enter through the coffee bar. Now we will stand on either side of the Schroyer room while Guido delivers the signatures to a board member, and we would like to ask that you remain respectfully quiet while Guido talks with the board member and join us in applauding once he has said thank you. Next, we will reconvene in the coffee bar. So please, on your way out, feel free to grab signs, which are right here, and join us for the photo on the steps of Parish. Thank you. Students 2, we need divestment 3. We will not stop, we have the power. 1,
We're Swarthmore students too. We need divestment 3.
we will not stop, we have the power.
1. We're Swarthmore students too. We need divestment 3. We will not stop. We have the power. 1.
We're Swarthmore students too.
We need divestment 3. We will not stop. We have the power. 1. We're Swarthmore students too. We need divestment 3. We will not stop. We have the power. 1. We're Swarthmore students too. We need divestment 3. We will not stop. We have the power. 1. We're Swarthmore students too. We need divestment 3. We will not stop. We have the power. 1. We're Swarthmore students too. We need divestment 3. We will not stop. We have the power. 1. We're Swarthmore students too. We need divestment 3. We will not stop. We have the power. 1. We're Swarthmore students too. We need divestment 3. We will not stop. We have the power. 1. We're Swarthmore students too. We need divestment 3. We will not stop. We have the power. Hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Fossil fuels have got to go. Now! Climate justice! 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 Now!
What do we want?
Climate justice!
What do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Climate justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Climate justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
Whose future? Our future. 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 Whose future? Our future.
One, we're Swarthmore students. 2, we need divestment. 3, we will not stop. We have the power. 1, we're Swarthmore students. 2, we need divestment. 3, we will not stop. We have the power. 1, we're Swarthmore students. 2, we need divestment. 3, we will not stop. We have the power. 1, we're Swarthmore students. divestment 3. We will not stop, we have the power. 1. We're Swarthmore students 2. We need divestment 3. We will not stop, we have the power. 1. We're Swarthmore students 2. We need divestment 3. We will not stop, we have the power. 1. We're Swarthmore students 2. We need divestment 3. We will not stop, we have the power. 1. We're Swarthmore students 2. We need divestment 3. We will not stop, we have the power. 1. We're Swarthmore students 2. We need divestment 3. We will not stop, we have the power. 1. We're Swarthmore students 2. We need divestment 3.
Everyone, once we're in Colbert, we are going to be respectively quiet for the Board of Managers meeting.
File all the way into the back. So besides the people with the banner, walking back.
So they're just in the midst of the meeting, so let me go for you. I'll be back in a second. Okay, they're doing it.
Morning. Hi. Thanks for coming out. Great to see you.
Good to see you.
I'm Susan Levine, Chair of Social Responsibility.
Thanks so much for coming out. On behalf of Swarthmore Mountain Justice and the fossil fuel divestment movement, I'd like to present you with the signatures of 806 students, 305 alumni, and 56 faculty members who have called on Swarthmore College to pursue fossil fuel divestment. We hope you will consider these petitions moving forward. Thank you both so much.
Thank you all, both for being here this morning and for all the signatures for those that are not here. I will bring these signatures and your voices to the board, and we in fact are considering issues this morning on climate change, and I hope in a relatively short while to be able to report to you some progress that without question is a result of your actions and what we have heard from you on the commitment that you have, that I think we share, to climate change as an issue. And we may have some difference on tactics, but I think we have great agreement on the critical nature of climate change and the need for Swarthmore to be doing more to deal with it. And I take this very seriously and appreciate the passion that you have brought to this and how it has changed, without question, the board's view of this, and more importantly, the actions that we are taking. I hope you also, in the next several weeks, we will arrange to continue the discussions with the investment office, investment committee, talking about Cambridge's proposal and insights, and continue that dialogue.
Can I say something, Gil?
Please, Susan.
So many of you know me or have been working with me. I hope some of you were at the symposium on hydrofracturing yesterday. And in a moment, the board will be voting on a proposal that's all about investing in our future. I think you know that through the work of the Social Responsibility Committee, Property Committee, Finance Committee, and Investment Committee, we have been considering ways to invest in areas that will address climate change. As you also know, and some of you don't because there's a lot of new students, we did spend a couple of years considering divestment. We reached a conclusion based on a lot of work, and as a number of students who were here on campus then said, they had 25 meetings with us and the administration on divestment. And the one thing that I acknowledge I don't think really happened, because a couple of years ago we were going to discuss divestment with a broad group of the community, but other issues were really important that we ended up talking about. So we recognize that a lot of you are new and that we haven't really sat down and talked to you about our thinking and heard, whether there are, hi Will, I haven't seen you in a long time, and whether there are a lot of, whether there are things that we should reconsider or reassess. I know Laura Ragel, who's off to Peru. I spoke with her yesterday about making sure that we organize this conversation that Gil has mentioned at the next board meeting, which is in February. We'll figure out some way to do that, where there's a group of us who sit down and in a kind of hopefully constructive way discuss some of the thinking that's gone on in the past and then what we're doing in the future. And in the meantime, Greg Brown, who's new on campus, Mark Amstutz, who is now the new Chief Investment Officer, they're happy to sit down with you in the interim so you don't have to wait for us to come back to campus. And in the meantime, stay tuned, because I think we have a really exciting announcement that will require using the endowment to invest in our future. So thank you guys. You know how to reach me, and we'll be back in February. But in the meantime, do speak to Greg, do speak to Mark, and keep those emails coming. And the board knows about this petition, and we know that there were at least 800 signatures. And just so you know, when we had the conversation today, I said, look, I'm not a student. I'm 58 years old, and I'm as passionate about this issue as the students on our campus. So while I may not agree with certain ways to address it, I absolutely agree that we must be doing things, and I believe that we are, and I hope that you'll continue to put pressure on us and see what we're trying to do. So thank you guys. We have to go back so we can vote to invest in our future.
Thank you both.
Thank you. Thanks for coming, guys. Thanks for getting up so early on a Saturday.
Of course. Hey folks, so we did it. So the board now has a petition with the majority of the student body in their hands, and as we heard from Gil and Susan, our work has already pushed the board to be moving on this issue. And I think that's a testament to the power that we've built, that the board feels a need to respond. And I think that it sends a very clear message to us to keep doing what we've been doing, to keep organizing, to not let up, to keep moving forward in a powerful and a constructive way. I'm happy that Mr. Kemp and Susan Levine reiterated their commitment to meet with us in the coming months. If I'm just going to speak candidly with you, I think things are looking pretty good. I'm happy. So I hope you all are feeling really good and really powerful about what we did here today. We're going to have a few closing words from Chris and Erica, and then donuts, which is one of the big reasons I'm here. So thank you all again.
Hello, my name is Christopher Melafrani. I'd like to thank you all again for marching with us today. It's not common knowledge outside of the Mountain Justice Corps team, but the real reason I came to Swarthmore is because of the Mountain Justice Interest Meeting that they hosted last year at Ride the Tide that I attended.
Woo! Ride the Tide!
With members as charismatic as those on the core team, it was really hard for me to say no. I am so glad to be part of such an accepting, critically thinking, and progressive school. Together, we just handed a petition for fossil fuel divestment to the Board of Managers. Together, we just handed a petition asking for an end to climate change and the start of positive change to that Board of Managers. Together, we just handed our petition demanding a future for our planet, for ourselves, and for our children to our Board of Managers. 806. A majority of the student body, a majority of the Swarthmore student body supports fossil fuel divestment. We have an international movement standing behind us with over 200 institutions who have gone fossil free. A movement that started right here at Swarthmore College. Each and every one of us is endowed with the privilege and a duty to work towards the betterment of the world around us. Today, we marched because it's time for our school to look to their endowment to work towards a more just and sustainable future. When the board ends their meeting, we want to leave them with a message from all of us. Why we call on fossil fuel divestment. So, there are pieces of paper here below me, orange squares, that we want each of you to write why fossil fuel divestment is important to you. There's also cider and donuts so that we can share in this celebration and cake, the celebration for all that we've achieved in the last 3 years of this movement and in the last 3 months of this semester. But before we do that, I'd like to ask Erica to come up and tell us a little bit about why she supports fossil fuel divestment, to give you an idea of what you might write on your orange squares to share with the board today. Thank you.
Hi everybody! It's really exciting to be here with you today, and my name is Erica. I'm a sophomore. I just wanted to briefly share with you why I've come to support divestment. So, my mom had me when she was a senior in college, and the magnitude of the statement didn't really hit me until I myself was in college. At its most visible level, I can't imagine having to stop reading a lab report to take care of a small screaming infant. And at another level, I can't imagine the social isolation she must have felt and the sheer terror of being forced to reconstruct this vision of her future, which she had so meticulously created throughout her life. But despite these unforeseen circumstances, my mom finished college, my mom finished grad school, and she became a Latin teacher. And teacher salaries aren't very big to support one person, let alone two individuals, so we didn't have a lot of money growing up, but we always got by. I managed to go to this really fancy private preschool just because my mom was teaching there. And all the kids during snack time would have these crazy, amazing snacks, like everything I'd ever seen a commercial for, but I never had a snack. I remember I asked my mom one day, how come I don't have Oreos like all the other kids? And my mom steps back for a minute and she's thinking, and she goes, you know, if you go to bed, I promise in the morning, I will show you that I have cookies that are a billion times better than Oreos. And I was like, no way. But I went to bed. I was going to give her the benefit of the doubt. I get up in the morning, I come downstairs, and she's perfectly arranged these little broken squares of ramen all over a cookie tray. And she says, these are noodle cookies. And looking back, I realize how inspired I am by her optimism and creativity in the face of an unforeseeable future. And I think this really applies to us as students, because I think we have this tendency to think that we are on the cusp of accessing this great power, but that we have to wait. And we say, I'll be able to change things one day when I fill in the blank, when I have a job, after I have my PhD, once I know more people, once I have more money. But this isn't true. We are privileged to be here. We are privileged to care about these issues. And we have a duty to do what we can with what we have, where we are. And we are powerful. Thank you. On these little orange squares up here and post them on our Divest Now poster. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, everyone. And to close it out, let's do 3 big claps together. Ready? Go.